A big hello and a very warm welcome to a special showing right here on ET Now. I am sitting with the CEO of IKEA India, Susanne Pulverer. I hope I've got your name right.
Absolutely correct, thank you.
And I'm looking to have a very interesting conversation on IKEA's 5-year journey in India. Susanne, I'm sure the journey has been very different compared to the other markets IKEA has tried to enter and establish itself, simply because we're such a diverse country. People say we're many Indias, and we're also an extremely price-sensitive market. So give me a sense in terms of setting up and establishing yourself as one of the leading brands here in this market. How different and difficult has it been when you compare your journey with other markets?
So I want to start to say that we celebrate a lot this year. We celebrate 80 years since IKEA was founded back in the forest in the south of Sweden.
Okay.
And I think we have a big legacy to bring with us from that history and into India. And the next milestone that we are celebrating is the 40 years since we came to start the purchasing and the sourcing from India.
Sure.
And that has been a very good experience with sourcing a lot of textile, developing into new categories of metal and plastic and mixed materials, building up 3,000 artisans to do collections that we sell in India and other parts. And being myself part of that organization some years back when I was in India for the first stint.
Okay.
Then the 5 years of retail, which is really a milestone to celebrate. It's 5 years since we opened Hyderabad. And of course, we have learned a lot about India during these 5 years. I would say, to start with, the most important learnings is to go to people's home and really understand in depth how they live and what their dreams and needs are. So altogether, we have done more than 2,000 home visits with conversations with families. Maybe I've done 30 myself.
Oh.
That gives us a lot of insights on what is relevant for India. What are the solutions that will help to create a better life? And what are the unique products that we might miss? What are the adjustments of the range? So maybe around 5% we have taken to adjustments, but a lot of what is relevant in other markets is relevant in India. The dreams are many times the same, the needs are many times the same. And when we have gone into homes, one thing goes across all markets, groups of people, price or income levels, is the need for solutions for storage. So how can I organize my home better and create an uncluttered home that is easy to clean and looks beautiful? Sure. So that's something we have learned. So that's what I would say is a key thing over the 5 years. Then India is huge as a country, so it's a continent we see, and we have just opened 3 markets and 2 online markets, and really look forward to continue to meet many more Indians over the coming years.
Sure. So if I asked you in terms of key unique trends to this country, I ask you this question because if you go to people's homes in Bombay, they are small. But Delhi would be relatively larger because rentals and real estate is much more cheaper in Delhi vis-a-vis, let's say, a Bombay. Similarly, a Bangalore would be a similar story, much cheaper than Bombay. So are you finding different cohorts, like the residents of, let's say, Bombay, where real estate is so much more expensive versus where it's slightly more relaxed? Is the behavior and the buying pattern a bit different?
Yes, it is indeed. So, and that is what needs to be mirrored when you come to IKEA in Mumbai or in Bangalore. So when we do our solutions, the homes, the room sets, it should look like how people live in that market. So in Mumbai, we need to make it a bit smaller.
Compact, yeah.
And in Bangalore, it can be a bit bigger. And there are other differences as well. And then we see differences in shopping behavior, how people look, how they are rational and functional in Mumbai, where there is maybe more of family focus in some other cities like Hyderabad, and a little bit more traditional. So there are things we see when we learn the markets, and we study that carefully to be as relevant as possible when we come.
Sure. It's also unfortunately been a hard 5 years because of the pandemic that hit us, and like every industry and company, I'm sure IKEA also had a lot of challenges. So if I look at your 5-year journey in terms of just how you've performed in this market, how would you critique it?
Yeah, no, the pandemic didn't leave anyone untouched, and of course during the pandemic, with all the uncertainty and terrible situation where people were sick around you, etc., and we didn't know how it would end. That was very difficult. Then the aftermath of the pandemic, and during the supply chain disruption, and how it increased the prices of transport, raw material, and still it's balancing now, but it's still of course impacted by that and the inflations we see, etc. So it is something, but we see it stabilizing a bit more. We try very hard to be affordable and continue to lower prices, roll back what we can to the customers as soon as we can.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is what I want to deep dive into. You have cut prices, on a sizable part of your articles as an offer in India, and the price cuts are ranging anywhere from 16 to 39% across categories, and this was recently done. What was the reason to do this? What was your thinking, and how is that working out?
Yeah, no, we really wanted to, because of everyone is hit by inflation, and as you say, India is a price-sensitive country. We wanted to create more affordability and give back whatever we could. And that was one investment we did, and we are looking into how we can continue. So it's a big focus for us to, wherever we can, be as affordable as possible.
Did the price cut come also because you realize now that you have some experience in the market after setting up, that the volumes would significantly go up because affordability is a big requirement in this country?
No, yeah, it's correct. So there is a correlation of the price and the volume, and we know when we get more volumes, we get better prices. So that's a formula of IKEA. When we can provide more volumes, we get better prices and then more affordable. So that's one way to see how we can build more volumes through lower prices, and still we can gain, and the customer has a better price as well.
But given the fact that there is inflationary pressures, of course, on consumers like me, but also on companies like you, right? And the fact that the macroeconomic factors are also looking a bit grim, right? And not such a robust world economy, the war on one side, and so many other challenging factors. How are you kind of balancing the pressure you have as a company on supply chain, on procurement of raw material, and balance that with affordability to the end consumer, especially in India?
Yeah, I think it goes back to our founder, who set the business model, the vision, to be for the many people, and to create a better everyday life, and that means to be affordable. So what we talk about is affordability has a twin that is low cost. Everything we do, we need to save costs. We never ever fly business class, for example. No matter, not the CEO.
Not even you?
No, never. I've never been in a business class. And so in every way we can, we have to save cost in our operations, and we know we can do more, and that goes across IKEA. That we save cost and then we create the margin. But it's also a lot about the optimal sourcing, of course, that our other IKEA entity working with sourcing are focusing on. Where is the best way to source the products? How can we create the volumes and the lower prices? That is a big focus.
In terms of top sourcing markets, right? I know you've been sourcing in India for decades now for the world, but what are the other key markets you source from that are important for IKEA globally?
I mean, there are a number of sourcing markets, and I'm into the retail operation, so I'm not into the details. But I mean, we are sourcing from Asia, we are sourcing from Europe. The main different countries in Europe, and there is also sourcing in other parts of the world and North America. So it's a globally sourcing organization that is complementing the global retail organization.
Sure, but I'm sure China must be a very important hub for your sourcing.
China is one, Poland is one, Germany, Sweden, Italy, Vietnam, India. So there are many sourcing markets that are important.
And your top market for sourcing would be?
I'm actually not into that, so I don't know the latest numbers, so I should not say.
Okay, let me then go on to something that you can tell me about, is that, you know, when you entered, there was a commitment, IKEA made a commitment of about a 10,500 crore investment to be made in the Indian market. I believe that investment is almost coming to the end. You know, you're also in the midst of launching your Delhi store, I believe, in Noida, which is also going to be quite a sprawling large store. What is the next stage of investment, or are you going to wait it out and see how this investment reaps returns?
The 10,500 are with the investments in Delhi coming up. The Gurugram is the next, and then Noida after that. With that investment, we have done the 10,500.
Right.
So we are looking at beyond that now, and that is in the planning stage, and we will come back and communicate as soon as we are ready with more concretely. So that will be, we are only in the beginning, but we have these two big investments in Delhi. We are looking forward to open Delhi very much in an omni-channel way in the end of 24. And in 2 years from now, the big meeting place in Gurgaon with an integrated IKEA store. So that's the first time we open a shopping center in India, and that will be very exciting.
Can you elaborate on that? What that means?
It means we have a part of Inca works with shopping centers, so it's called Inca centers. They invest in meeting places with an integrated IKEA store. And the first time we test that in India is in Gurgaon and
in Gurugram,
and that will open in 2 years from now.
And that'll be your first pilot of this, right?
But we are already on the Noida, because that's an even bigger investment project, and that comes a few years after.
Susanne, tell me, now you have these large you have two in Bombay, right? One in Navi Mumbai, one in the store that we're sitting in Worli,
and then R-City in the mall,
R-City Mall, right? And then you have the big one in Hyderabad, and in Bangalore, right? Now we're getting two more in Delhi. With what we have right now, right, between Bombay, let's say Bangalore and Hyderabad, where are you receiving the most footfalls and conversions?
Footfall, I would say both Hyderabad and Bangalore has very strong footfall, and especially in the weekends when big groups, families come to visit the store. We have also in Mumbai, we see it's a more challenge with traffic and congestion and time, and we know people have long working hours and sometimes not take time to actually physically visit the store. So I would say there are most footfall in Hyderabad and Bangalore, but that's only one part of the story. It's also how you reach, and online is possible to meet IKEA also in Mumbai.
That's another question I have. Between your brick and mortar stores that you have versus your online play, what is the kind of contribution to revenue? You know, the offline versus online ratio?
A little bit less than 20% is online today. And the rest. And then we also have remote selling, which is when you get a little bit more extra support in, but it's over a virtual meeting with us.
That must be very small at the moment.
Yeah, it's rather small, but a good growth potential.
So most people actually are wanting to come to the store, take a look, touch, feel, and then decide.
All service we have done and taken part of show that people today are keen on getting out and experiencing physically retail. So online is a good complement, but especially home furnishing, life at home products, people still want to see, touch, feel,
Sure. I just want to talk a little bit about, your financials. I know you're still very much in your investment phase, and unfortunately, you were also in a phase where we were hit by the pandemic.
Yeah.
So if I'm not wrong, according to Toffler, the report says that in 21-22, you had about a 900 crore loss as opposed to, let's say, 807. What is this year looking like, if you can give me a sense?
When we go into a new country, and especially a market like India,
Of course.
it is an investment, and the size of our investments make the first years look like this. That's quite normal.
Absolutely.
And then we gradually move towards a better result. So, depending on how many years the investment has been up and running, will then depend on when we reach the break-even and the profitability.
Give me a sense of what is your vision of, not profitable, but at least break-even.
Yeah, I mean, we have done 5 years in Hyderabad, so we are looking at the years soon to be break-even, and then gradually market by market.
Okay.
And the volumes, when we build more volumes in India, we also get better prices for the products, better margin, and then that has an impact on profitability.
And what about your revenue? And your revenues have also grown significantly.
Yeah.
Give me a sense of those revenue figures.
We have grown substantially the last year, and of course connected to becoming more recognized and more established as a brand, and having more presence physically and online as well, I would say, because we have improved our online system and making that a better availability through the online as well.
A move which shows us that you are very keen about the Indian market in terms of your long-term, stay here, is the fact that your investment arm, Inca Investments, is about to establish its presence in the country.
Yeah.
Which is obviously demonstrating your commitment to the country.
Absolutely.
Give me a sense about what Inca Investments, its presence in India, will look like, and what does that mean?
Yeah. So there are two arms in Inca beyond the retail, which is investment, and Inca Centers, which is the shopping center arm. So mainly the collaboration is with centers, creating shopping centers or meeting places, as we want to position them, with integrated IKEA stores. So that is the collaboration. Investment, we are in discussion with how they can further contribute and invest in India. They are much into sustainability areas. They invest in some real estate as well, but mainly right now we are looking at different sustainability areas. But the big next step will be with the centers part.
Will be the shopping centers. Yes. Yeah, it's interesting. So is this going to be the shopping center? Of course, it's starting first in Delhi, I believe, but you're going to move into other top metros as well?
We are looking into that and see good opportunities. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a way to further drive visitation. It's a way to make the land cost is high in India. Land is very precious and scarce. Yes. So with a center you can divide the cost in a better way. So that's a very good solution. But let's see, we start with the first, and the second is planned, and then we look at more.
Okay. You've also been sourcing raw material from India for now a long time. Give me a sense as to, how much of that in figures. My figure says about 400 million euros of sourcing material is done from India for your needs globally. Would that be accurate?
I am also not into that. I used to work in that, lead that operations, but it's 13 years back, so I don't have that figure. I can only say we think India is a very good sourcing market that can potentially grow much more.
Okay. The other thing is, while you're already operating in retail, so for for our homes, I believe B2B is going to become also increasingly very important as a pillar for you. Yeah. What is the kind of steps you've taken in India to ensure that your B2B vertical grows robustly?
Yeah, you are correct. India is full of entrepreneurs, young and of different age, but it's really a sprawling entrepreneurship in India. a lot of people having own businesses and growing businesses. So what we do is to set up a special organization to support direct service to the businesses. And many times it's more volume, so we need to plan it in a different way and give extra care for these larger orders that come through the B2B.
But how significant is that today in your portfolio?
Yeah, it is a quite big share. I'm absolutely not updated on the exact number, but it is a big share.
It's a big share.
And also with a lot of potential to further grow.
Yeah. I also
there is a lot of development of new housing and of course an opportunity to provide solutions for storage, wardrobes, kitchens, etc. Or the full furniture if so would be liked.
And between these two verticals, is there some kind of, some forecast that you can give me in terms of these growth numbers?
No, I can just say I think we can. It's an almost unlimited potential to reach out to businesses with the range we have that can fit businesses as well. And we see real estate, of course, as one very big category of, but also hospitality and education. These are the three biggest businesses within B2B that we have.
Susanne, given that all of us are sitting in a world economy that is a bit volatile, right? How are you ensuring there is consumer demand, and to ensure that that demand remains robust so that people come out and shop? And I know you're doing your best by slashing prices and trying to get more affordable furniture to people's homes, but how are you ensuring?
No, it starts with the vision again of IKEA. So all of IKEA, all working under the IKEA brand, from the sourcing part to the range development to all the countries that are doing retail. We look at affordability as a key priority, and that is very much relevant for most countries in the world today, not only India. And together we try to create the conditions to invest in lower prices. And we say when there are tough times, we are at our best because we have this commitment to pass on what we can and to create affordability through the low cost, as I explained, and the optimal sourcing. So very few companies have the value chain influence. So we have an influence from the design of a product, the idea of a product, till it meets the customer. All that is within our influence, and that is unique and a reason why we can work on affordability and be at our best in tough times.
What is the average shelf life of IKEA products?
That is a good question. I don't know. I think some fly out and there are some that become concrete because they are not moving. Not everything is success, but it's hard to say and depends on what kind of product, because we sell food, of course.
I'm talking about furniture.
Furniture. It's very hard. I mean, if it's a good seller, there is a good return about the range and the stock. Then some might sit for a year. That can happen if it's a more slow-selling article. And the whole supply chain is set up depending on fast-selling or more slow-selling article.
Okay. No, my question is also like durability, because IKEA is, ensuring affordable pricing.
Yeah.
Would you say if I bought furniture from IKEA, how long could I have it before I need to change it?
Yeah. It depends on the product, but very average, I think it's impossible. I want to say that we want to create durable products that give long-lasting joy. I have myself products that my son has now inherited from me that I inherited from my parents. That is IKEA products. Okay. I have many products that are 20, 30 years that I just love and wear. I think this sofa you can have for years and years. So that's the whole idea. It should be long-lasting and durable, not something you throw away.
But isn't that a disadvantage? Because I'm buying it at an affordable price and then I'm having it for 20, 30 years. So how do you increase consumption?
Yeah, we need to be responsible at the same time. Sustainability at the core. So then we can't, the world cannot afford it or the planet cannot afford it. So that's, and we believe there are enough people to support with furnishing their homes to have a market. So keep your things as long as they last, and when you can't do anything, please give it or sell it to someone else.
Okay, last question before I let you go. 5 years done in India. What is the next 5 years? What can the India market expect from IKEA over the next 5 years? That's new and exciting.
Yeah, what is new and exciting? I think a brand that is really caring about India, a brand that is working with the customers, with its co-workers, with the societies we are in, and doing our very best to become a part of the Indian society.
Okay. On that note, thank you so much, Susanne. All the very best for your next run in India, and hoping to see more centers and more affordable furniture. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
so
much.
much.